coming to you at the request of the Canadian equivalent of the TSA. When we were going through Canadian TSA, I'll just call it that for ease.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure of the actual name of the organization. I should probably know. I'm bad Canadian. Anyways, putting aside our, inferiority complex, when we were going through security screening at the Vancouver airport to fly to LAX, we encountered a wonderful agent. What was his name? Start with a W? Walter. Walter was fantastic.
Angel.
Walter, if you see this, thanks once again for being such a superstar. Because we had various liquids, and so I think everyone by now knows that when you're bringing a liquid, whether it's like cologne or shampoo or whatever, it can't be more than 100 milliliters. You're going to have to learn metric. 100 milliliters. It's some number of fluid ounces. I don't know. It's 100 milliliters to most of the world. Everyone but TSA. So... anyways, when you go to the travel section of your Walmart or supermarket, whatever, they'll often have a travel section and you'll get like the Listerine and it says TSA approved travel size. And that's because it's just under that requirement. And so I think a lot of people know that. The messaging on that has gotten out. The world knows. That's great.
You can do it without thinking.
Here's what you might not know is there's also a cumulative limit.
Yeah.
So you can't bring an unlimited number of those bottles, which I guess if you think about it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's not what people sit around thinking about because, if I brought... I'll just take as much as I want. I'll put it in tiny little containers, and then I'll recombine it whenever I want. I get it. Okay, so that makes some sense. So there is a cumulative limit, and it's basically 10 of those. So it's 1 liter total. And so here's how that works. And again, this is a tip that the Canadian TSA has actually asked us to share with you. And so we have a visual aid for this one. There is a bag that they use specifically. Oh, you know what? I think you've got it. CATSA.
Oh.
CATSA, because, we got to be at least a little different. And so the bag, you can actually get the bag in advance of going through the security screening to maybe put your stuff in or check out. And so it mentions that individual packaging, 100 milliliters, and a total of 1 liter. The way that it works, though, is whatever fits in the bag goes.
If it fits, it sits.
Yeah, exactly, like cats.
Now, caveat, there may be some agents that are really... No, it's 1,000 milliliters. So do keep that in mind. We might have gotten one of the nice ones where he's like, listen, if it fits, it sits, I don't care. Some might be like, no, that's more than 1,000.
But Walter really made it sound like this was sort of the standard.
Yeah.
So
I just want to give that caveat just in case.
They check the individual container to make sure, okay, this is not more than 100. Anything not more than 100 is game. If the individual thing is more than 100, it's game over. That gets tossed. And so... they don't take the time to check in detail, and nor should they, because that would hold up the line. So maybe you've got a container that says 130, but you've used 40, and so there's 90 left. They're not going to care. They're going to see the capacity of the little container and toss it. Exactly. So keep that in mind when you're packing. And so the way that they do it is they put everything inside the bag, and if it looks like they can seal it up or they're able to seal the Ziploc at the top, then it's good to go. And so there is a particular way that you can pack things into the bag to get more in, maximum capacity. I think I'll let you speak to that.
Yeah, so they recommend that you basically put all the cylindrical items that are, much like this. This is Scentbird perfume, not a sponsor, but, again, hit us up.
Team at vacationimpossible.ca or message us on Instagram, Facebook, comment on YouTube, DM on Twitter. We can negotiate something.
There you go. Lips and mascaras or whatever. So all like the cylindrical items, the uniform shaped items, they say put those in first so that they all stand up on in the bag, right?
And that's a cylinder. So if you got something like sort of a toothpaste-like container where it comes to a pinched point at one end, hold off on those. Not yet.
So put all the cylindrical items in first, get them all in there and jammed in there, and then you start adding in the weird shaped stuff.
The stuff that is like toothpaste.
They count gels too, so
yeah,
unclear.
like be prepared. But for those things that come to a pinch, he said put it in upside down, right?
Yeah.
So where the pinched part goes down, because I think a lot of the cylindrical things kind of narrow at one end, or even if they don't, it's easier to jam it in by putting the pinch towards the bottom and pushing, because it has to fit in the bag, but the bag itself is plastic. And Walter made a point of telling us this, that the bag itself can kind of stretch a little bit. It's like, it's your fat pants. It's your fat pants of liquids traveling on planes. That metaphor's a little painful.
And then, if you have the little pods, say for instance, a travel bag, like this is, for the people who are, say foundation or use night cream, whatever, and you put them in the little travel pods, those are the ones you put in last. I'm not going to go grab one, but I do have a few of those.
And it's a little bit like how we recommend you pack your laundry in the bag on the cruise ship if you have your free laundry, where you put those things in first, and so when you put in the cylindrical things and then the toothpaste-like things that pinch upside down, what you've functionally done at the top of that bag is create a shelf. Mm-hmm. And so on that shelf, you can then put the things that might be more oddly shaped, if it's like a round thing or something that's a little bit more like flat, not quite a cylinder, but like a flattened sort of, I guess almost like the shape of a compact. But again, that wouldn't be liquid. But if it was that shape and had liquid in it, and then you can put things on that shelf, and then if you can close the Ziploc, or even kind of look like you can close the Ziploc at the top, then you should be golden. So thank you, Walter, for helping us, and hopefully, this was Walter's request, so we're all too happy.